How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are here with a brand new series on the channel, the bottom at the 4th of July and the bottom at the All-Star game of the team in the opposite league, where we just finished our series with the Red Sox. So we're in the National League this time, and it is the Colorado Rockies who we are going to be taking over, and they are kind of, I don't want to say they're comfortably sitting at the bottom of the NL, because they're only 2 games back of Washington, but that feels like a mountain at this point. Thankfully, MLB The Show only ranks them as the 26th worst team in 26th best team in the league, I should say, which would make them the 4th worst, 5th worst. I want to say that makes them the 5th worst team in the game. So we may actually not have our work too cut out. Who am I kidding? I'm sugarcoating this a ton. Looking at their roster, it is nowhere close to contending with anybody in the division, let alone contending for a World Series. I mean, just Nolan Jones is probably the best player we'll have for a little while here. Right fielder, can play first, third, or left. Beat potential. He's a lefty, so, probably going to keep him there in the outfield with that 99 arm. I mean, that's perfect for right field. The fielding and reaction, not the greatest, but pretty solid hitter. Good, really, actually, elite in the clutch. So maybe a guy that can get some RBIs, if we can get some guys on base around him. Chris Bryant and his massive contract. I hope he plays like this in game. I mean, he doesn't look too bad, all things considered, in an 81. Good contact, discipline, vision. Hopefully he'll be a guy getting on base for a guy like Nolan Jones to bring home. Brenton Doyle, Grandal Grichuk. I mean, that rounds out the 80s. Guys, there's four players in the 80s here. Ryan McMahon is actually having a really good season. I don't think that's Ryan McMahon. I'm pretty sure that was a picture of Charlie Blackmon, and that's what I thought. I don't know why Ryan McMahon's picture is glitched, but he's having a great season right now in real life. Probably the best season of anybody on the Rockies right now, any hitter, I should say. And he looks okay. That fielding and reaction, the arm is not the greatest, but he could play third if we needed him to with that fielding. It's okay. But we have our work cut out for us. I mean, the salaries aren't the greatest. You can see Chris Bryant's $26 million, just started that 6-year contract. Probably not gonna get rid of that anytime soon. Grichuk, McMahon's making what he's worth. Crone, we'll see. I mean, he's fine. Nothing spectacular to me, but really it comes down to the guys with potential. We'll start here in right field with Zach Veen, a potential, really the guy that we're holding our hopes on right now for the outfield. Like I said, I think Nolan Jones will be fine, but left field, Jurickson Profar, he ain't it. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not. So Zach Veen, we're hopefully going to see him grow probably a season, maybe 2, before we end up leaning on him. I kind of want to call guys up sooner rather than later in this series. I know that's one thing that I did with Boston, was not really call players up, when they were on the lower end and just giving them a shot. So I may do that with the Rocky series. If you guys want me to throw in a twist or something like that, I can only use drafted players, can't use free agency or something like that, I'll try it. But this is a long mountain to climb, and hopefully we can climb it. The number 1 prospect, according to MLB.com, is Adael Amador. He's not rated as well as that in MLB The Show, only B potential. He is 19, though, at 60 overall. Shortstop. Looks like he's going to be a guy that could maybe do it all if everything kind of increases equally. He may be somebody that at short, pretty solid fielding right now for a 19-year-old, so I can't complain about that. In center field, Benny Montgomery's the 5th ranked player in their system. Again, another B potential, 66 at 20. So we got a couple guys here that maybe we can look to groom and grow. I'm just kind of looking through the list here. We got Yanquiel Fernandez, who's ranked as the 3rd best prospect in the Rockies system right now. Solid player here. The hitting against righties is there. The fielding, speed. I mean, we'll see. These guys are in the 60s right now, and they're just touching their early 20s. So we got a few years before we really have to worry about these guys making an impact on the team. And then Drew Romo is the number 4 ranked prospect. So I figured I'd give you guys a roundabout of the top 5 prospects in the Rocky system, according to MLB.com. He seems to be a solid fielder. Hopefully he grows, but I'm kind of wanting to call these guys up when they're in their low to mid 70s. We'll have to see what the stat distribution is, right? Maybe that would be more important than overall, but it is definitely not going to be an easy series. Our goal is to finish over 500, which I think would be an absolute triumph with this roster in its current state. So we'll go ahead and jump in there. I'm going to turn off GM contracts there, guys. Obviously, CPU trading, nope, none of that. Ignore budgets off, force trades, and there we go. I am going to let the coaches do the coaching and the injury management. I'm going to scout and be the GM. I kind of like that last series where the coach I hire, he gets to make the decisions with the roster that I put in there. And we had a situation in the final season where we signed Jonathan India, and they actually benched Gavin Lux, who I had penciled in to be the starter all year. And India put up a ridiculous season. So sometimes they know better than I do. But we're going to let them go ahead and get it started. We are going to actually start at the regular season. I don't want to start at spring training. We're just going to get it underway here. Roster, yes, here we go. We can now go ahead and sort. So if we sort by potential, it's Brendan Rodgers here at second base, who's 26, right? So he's just about entering his prime. He's still got room to grow. I really hate the fact that he's such a good hitter against lefties and not righties, because you always see more righties as you get more and more into the years of franchise mode. But just a guy that I'm hoping that he can hit that A potential, but at 26, he's probably going to be a solid player, a good, maybe a fringe all-star player if he gets hot a year or two. But I really don't see him being the guy to hand the keys of the franchise over to. Like I do see Zach Veen absolutely being that guy, left hitting player that can play in anywhere in the outfield. Pretty well rounded right now. I'm really hoping to see him grow nicely. German Marquez, obviously, he's not going to touch that potential of Bard pitching solidly enough this year, I think. He's going to be an okay reliever. Maybe somebody that I'd like to move on from immediately. At $9 million, he's 37. I think he would do better on a contending team than on our team. McMahon, Tovar. I mean, Ezekiel Tovar looks really solid. The contact, the fielding. Now, this is a guy here at short that I might want to make one of the pillars of the team. I mean, it's crazy that he's already a 76 at 21, where like Zach Veen is only 67, things like that. But you guys can see Nolan Jones here. Him and Tovar are probably the two MLB ready players, and maybe Brendan Rodriguez. Brendan Rodgers. I'm going to add him to the 40-man and call him up. We have a full 40-man. That's cool. I don't really want Matt Carcidi. So we're just going to designate him for assignment. Yep, he's immediately off the 40-man, and that means that I can add Brendan Rodgers to the 40-man roster, and we can call him up to the majors. There we go. Congratulations, Brendan. You've made it to the major leagues. All right, so we'll sort by overall again so you guys can see. Oh, man. And then we just go to the starting pitching. German Marquez, Chris Flexen are currently in AAA. I believe they're hurt, which is why they would be in AAA, but man, it's bad. Oh, man. Whew, okay. I've got no words. I've got nothing to say. I just got to add some guys to the 40-man roster and just kind of hope, I guess. Yeah, this is rough. We might have a really, really bad first season here, guys. Oh, man. I don't even know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. I guess we'll take a look at what free agents are out there right away. You can always find a guy, Nelson Perez here would be an instant upgrade to our starting pitcher. We can see if there's anybody with potential. I'll flip through these guys, but normally when I start in spring training, there's a couple, maybe Roger Villafuerte. I mean, B potential 1866. Definitely. I mean, he kind of slots right in right away. Oh God, is that the way the MLB sits currently? Yeah, he currently would be an MLBer for us. Yikes. Okay, so I'm going to sign just a couple of these guys. I'll catch you up on what the roster moves I make, and we can just kind of assess this roster. All right, so we have made a couple moves, and we're going to start by just highlighting Roger Villafuente, that starting pitcher who's a 66 overall. He's got crazy stamina. His hits per nine is awful, and his pitching clutch is very not good. But the Ks per nine, the walks per nine, and the home runs per nine, not bad. Decent velocity. I do actually like his pitch makeup with the four-seamer, the changeup, the curve, the slide. I mean, it's as standard as it gets, but he's got that running fastball. He's got 5 pitches. Listen, we're taking a flyer on him. If he develops into anything, if he can limit those hits per nine, then we might have something here. We might have a gem. We've seen this happen before in the past. In our Red Sox series, we signed a couple pitchers that turned out to be really high quality for us. Speaking of pitchers that we signed out that could turn out to be high quality is John Cannon, a closing pitcher here. Born in Illinois, a potential. I mean, this guy's got decent enough stamina to where I wouldn't mind moving him into the bullpen if, he doesn't end up being a lockdown closer. And I think he's got a really good just spread of attributes with the 60s and the 50s. And I mean, for a kid that's 22 as a closing pitcher, I'm willing to give him another, plenty of years, right? We still have him, under team control really through 2028. So what is that? That's 6 seasons, including this one. So we've got him under control for a while, and we can see how he develops. The next guy we signed to a 1-year contract is Anthony Francisco here from Georgia. B potential at 19, 67 overall. And the thing that caught my eye with him is just how good of a hitter he is already. I know he's only 67 overall, but as a first baseman, I don't need him to be fast. I don't need him to have the greatest fielding or arm. I mean, I'd like the fielding to get up a little bit. He can't bunt worth a damn, but he's just lifting big. Good power there already at 19, 60 power against righties, 68 against lefties. In the mid-60s vision, this is a guy that, maybe next year could come up and platoon with CJ Cron, depending on how he ends up developing or regressing, I should really say. He's a really good hitter right now, but in the future, I think it's Anthony Francisco's job. The final player that we signed from free agency, these auto-generated players, is Isaiah Cole, the third baseman. Doesn't have any secondary positions. Only 61 overall at 19, but B potential there. The thing that jumped out to me was just his stat distribution, his underlying stats, right? He doesn't really have power, but that contact already being in the mid-70s, 64 discipline, 68 clutch, and then 82 stealing with 66 speed. I mean, this is a guy that I'm looking at. I think he looks really good, and he's one of those guys that I think will simulate well, will play well, which will then help his overall shoot up much faster. And I mean, who doesn't want a 6'4" third baseman there at the hot corner? So, I mean, that's really all the signings I made. I didn't want to go nuts. I could have. There were plenty of players that I think could have made an impact, maybe even some right away, but I didn't want to just overwhelm the roster with a bunch of random auto-generated free agents. I think these are guys that will help the roster. And speaking of helping the roster, I just took a quick look here at the top prospects. According to MLB The Show, we do have 2. The obvious one being Zach Veen here at 34. But then here at 44 is Isaiah Cole himself, the man himself. I mean, they ranked him as the, 44th best prospect? Yeah, I mean, at 19, the third baseman, with that kind of contact, guys, I'm really, really excited to see how it goes. And don't forget, we are playing in Colorado, so we do have the advantage of the elevated altitude, and maybe we're gonna get more home runs. That's something we should probably prioritize with our pitchers, is not allowing home runs per 9, and just maybe we don't need to prioritize power, or we do prioritize power and just have guys absolutely rake. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me what you think. So I've officially set up the 40-man roster and our starting lineups, our 26 that are going to play in the MLB, and there's a lot of red on this screen, and red's not good unless you're looking at the red that says John Cannon is a top prospect here. We'd love to see that, but really the starting pitching is horrific. I mean, we have some decent pieces, right? We've got good depth players. I mean, the outfield's really not that bad. With Grichuk, Jones, and Doyle. I mean, I can really prioritize other areas, and I really think the biggest area to prioritize is gonna be the starting pitching rotation, man. This 5 is bad. Charlie Blackmon in a contract year, he's 36. Would it be better to have him on another team? I don't know. To send him to another team, but at this point, for playing 1,400 games for the Rockies, I'd feel just mean. Although, if I want to give him a chance at winning a World Series, it's probably not going to be here. That's a tough needle to thread. Ryan McMahon obviously has years left with us to go for it. Daniel Bard, I think I may, this may be the one I do end up moving on from. Just because his contract's another $9.5 million for 2 years. B potential means he's not going to lose his overall too quickly. But at 37, just taking a look at the roster, we do have some younger pieces with a smattering of veterans. But just 37 is a little bit too much for me, considering he's not been a Rockies lifer like Charlie Blackmon has. So I'm going to try and see what I can get for Bard. It's probably not going to be anything fantastic, but who knows? Maybe I can get something to help me in the starting rotation. Obviously our starting pitchers here, I mean, anything in the 70s would help. So the one trade that is actually really appealing for Daniel Bard is Drew Rucinski here. He is 71 only, but the good news is his contract's only 1 year at $700,000. It looks like they're paying him to basically be a minor leaguer. He has pitched in real life 18 innings, so not that many, but at least for our team, he'd be an upgrade over what we currently have. I mean, he's an upgrade over Luis Sessa here, and I need something, anything, anybody in the 70s just to make sure. I listen. We're not trying to go anywhere, really. I'm not trying to make a playoff push. That's going to be virtually impossible. But what I do want to do is set us up to, not have contracts that could hurt when we need to pay other players. And Daniel Bard's contract is another season after this one at 9.5. I am going to send him to Oakland. Not exactly going to be a chance to win the World Series, but it's a trade that, they don't really have anybody in the bullpen. We don't have anybody in the starting rotation. Kind of fits both. I know we really weaken our bullpen with this trade, but the bullpen's not on the top of my mind right now. So Drew Rucinski, welcome to Colorado. They will accept that deal. I love how I'm getting notifications for my own trades. So before we get any simulating underway, guys, I just wanted to show you what the lineups are going to be against righties and lefties. Now, this is totally up to the discretion of our manager, who I'll probably end up firing after the season anyway, but this is a just tear it down, get right, and then build it back up year or maybe two. For now, I'm just going to let whoever our manager currently is. Actually, let me take a look at that. Contracts, coaches. It is Bud Black. Bud, you're not going to get an extension on that contract. I'll probably leave. Oh, God. -2 contact, -3 power. Oh, that's not going to help us do any winning. I'd like to at least see improvement next year, but at least for this year, I don't really care. We can win 47 games for all I care, and I think that'd actually be pretty good, because then we could have a better chance at drafting higher and getting somebody that can change the future of this franchise. But Chris Bryant, he's got leading off the lineup, followed up by Charlie Blackmon against righties. So 79 contact, 76 contact. It's not too bad. Then Randall Grichuk here with 81 contact is our 3 spot. CJ Cron at the 4 with 82 power. 92 contact, Elias Diaz. I would almost say he should be higher up in the lineup. A guy that I want to keep for a year. He's pretty solid. Maybe next year, on the last year of his deal, we could move on from him. Nolan Jones here. That 36 vision does hurt, but 82 contact and 70 power against righties is pretty good. Ryan McMahon, 73-73, 69-42 there for Ezekiel Tovar, who seems to be contact against righties, power against lefties. Although against the lefties, he's a pretty solid hitter. And then Brenton Doyle, who really is just here for his fielding and his speed. He's not here for his bat. Against lefties, pretty much the same story, except Jurickson Profar comes in and Ryan McMahon steps out of the lineup. I mean, I know Ryan McMahon's not the greatest against lefties, but do we really have to bench him? We move Nolan Jones from the outfield to the infield. Brendan Rodgers is on the bench against righties, which, I mean, I guess 65 contact, I would say, is enough in this kind of lineup. Man, this is yikes. I don't necessarily agree with all of these lineup decisions. Oh wait, did I screw that up? No, he's still on the bench here. I just was looking at the no DH. Either way, Ryan McMahon at second and then benched against lefties. I mean, we don't see too many lefties, but I guess it's a good excuse for a day off. But, there you go. There's the lineup. Some interesting decisions. So let's get into some of the simulating here, guys. I don't think I want to make any more splashy trades. We'll see, if anybody gets put on the trade block, we can go after them. But I think right now, guys, we're going to kind of get through the month of April here into May, and then we can talk about what's going on with the scouting and what's going on with the team. All right, guys, here we are at the end of the first month of the season, and things aren't necessarily as bad as I thought they'd be. We are 13-16, so maybe 500 is not too crazy, although the runs scored and the runs against don't necessarily paint a pretty picture. What they do say is that we are a lower scoring team. Taking a look at the wild card, we are only 2.5 back of the Cubs. The Diamondbacks, a team, just 1 game ahead of us. The Padres, 3 games ahead of us. So, we might have an opportunity to squeak in. I really don't see it, though, with the roster we have. What is absolutely carrying us right now? Player statistics. Charlie, who's batting well? Ryan McMahon is batting well. Randall Grichuk. Elias Diaz got hot. Brendan Rodgers is having a good season, and Nolan Jones, CJ Cron, Chris. Okay, so our batting averages are pretty good. And considering the way our contact looks, I'm not surprised. Nolan Jones with the best OPS of 820, but also Grichuk, Diaz, and Brian Serven. I mean, not necessarily. I'm not going to throw him in this, but Diaz, Grichuk, and Jones with a really, really good OPS. Home runs so far, Nolan Jones has 5 in the first month. Grichuk does lead him in RBIs, however. So a pretty solid start to the season for some of the guys that we were hoping to see a good season from, right? Let's take a look at WAR, who's adding the most to the roster right now, and then we'll take a look at runs created. Nolan Jones is adding the most to the roster from a fielding standpoint, or I guess from a position player standpoint. But Elias Diaz at catcher, almost 1 WAR in the first month. Same thing with Randall Grichuk. Ryan McMahon's had a good season, but really those are the guys carrying. Brendan Rodgers is not necessarily doing as much as I'd hope he would. Take a look at runs created, though. Randall Grichuk is the best bat we have, and that contact is really good and probably a major reason why. So at 31, we could get a couple more good seasons out of him. Nolan Jones, obviously is the guy that right now at 24 looks to be the future spearhead of this franchise. Moving over to pitching. Taking a look at ERA. Anybody doing really, really well? Closing pitcher Pierce Johnson is actually 0 ERA. Wow, I will take that in 7 innings pitched. Same thing with relief pitcher Justin Lawrence. Jake Bird, 1.59. Chris Flexen, a 2.72 ERA with a 1.16 WHIP. It's crazy that he's pitching a 2.72 and is 2-3. That's kind of crazy to me. Taking a look at just sorting by innings pitched. You guys can see here's our starters. Really, it's the Chris Flexen show. So I will absolutely take that. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that he's got the best home runs per 9. Maybe that's just a coincidence, but he's got the best home runs per 9 of anybody here. And we'll take a look at the quality starts. 50% quality starts for these 3 guys, and Sessa and Freeland with 2. Still, like I said, very, very early. The WAR for pitching is Flexen. Brad Hand, the relief pitcher, he's doing well. Jake Bird, Pierce Johnson. I mean, the pitchers really aren't contributing much. The ERC, though, it's painting a good picture for those guys at the top here. Really, the bad ERCs come from Tyler Kinney, Austin Gomber, Fernando Abad. Yeah, so really, it's kind of all over the place right now, and it's too early to really draw any conclusions. But I thought I should let you guys know that I am scouting primarily for starting pitchers. I'm trying to find some shortstops, maybe some outfielders on the side, but really right now, I'm just trying to find any kind of talent that helps this team. If we become a team that acquires talent via trade for fielders and drafts, all-star pitchers every year, I'll take it. But at least we need to focus on something. Contact and defense is good. Pitching, horrific. So we're just about at the draft. It's 2 days away, and we are back with a 500 record. 44 and 44. I mean, guys, this is crazy. I just kind of assumed we would just bottom out like the real life Rockies, but I mean, we're a game and a half out of the Wild. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I may backpedal my way into the playoffs. That's wild. And instead, in last place is still the Washington Nationals and the poor Cincinnati Reds, who L.A. De La Cruz is quite the show. Is he playing in the majors for them, L.A. De La Cruz? Yeah, oh my God, he's an 80. I did not realize the ratings boost he got. Oh my God, Cincinnati better lock him up to some ridiculous contract. Can we even get him? No, I didn't think so. Anyway, I can't believe the Reds are down there with that, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But Rushinsky there with the loss, that sucks, but it's to Houston, so I get it. I mean, we're 44 and 44. Listen, I did not expect to even be this close to the playoffs, let alone, 500. Let's take a look at the statistics. Who's doing the damage here? Batting average, Alan Trejo, okay, doing fine. Michael Toglia, these guys haven't had many at-bats. Chris Bryant got hot, and oh boy did he. Holy smokes, he's up to a 306 batting average. Ryan McMahon's above 300 batting average. Brendan Rodgers is at 296. So, man, these guys are doing really well. Grichuk, Diaz continues to give us some good batting from the catcher's position. Not the greatest fielder, but hey. What are you going to do? Home run wise, we got Elias Diaz. Yeah, he's giving us some pop there. CJ Cron with 13, Randall Grichuk with 12, and Nolan Jones with 11. So really, really solid season OPS. We got 4 guys over 800, although one of them is Michael Toglia, who, like I said, beat potential. I don't know why is he even up here? I swear I'm the one managing the MLB roster. I don't know why they called him up. Maybe because they thought we needed a first baseman. I left Profar up here. I didn't leave Michael. Maybe I did. I did leave Michael Toglia up here. That's a lie. And Anthony Francisco is cold, but look at the growth on that contact against lefties, power against righties. He's growing really, really well. So he may be cold, but he's catching some fire as far as his growth is concerned. Take a look at the rest of the statistics now, player statistics. We'll just go back, check out WAR really quickly. WAR, oh my God, Charlie Blackmon, negative 1.3 WAR, regressing incredibly hard. It may be better off if he just retires. And I'm not going to trade him away. We're going to let him retire as a Colorado Rocky. I don't think he is going to retire, period. But as far as positive WAR, Randall Grichuk with a 2.7, Ryan McMahon with a 2.1. Nobody else over 2, but hey, I'm not going to complain too much. Pitchers, Flexen continues to be insanely hot. He's our best starter. Kyle Freeland also doing well. Taking a look at quality starts, 9 of his 17 for Freeland. Austin Gomber, 9 of his 17, 9 of his 18 for Marquez, and 8 of his 18 for Flexen. Ruzinski's, I had to call him up. I forgot he was in AA, so I had to call him up. Adam of the 40 man and whatnot. But as far as WAR is concerned, Flexen, wow. Okay, Chris Flexen, he signed to a pretty cheap deal too. So if I can get some production out of this guy, I'll be pretty satisfied. Let's take a look at some of those youngsters that we signed and see how they're doing. Roger Villafuente, now up to a 68, I believe, from a 66. He is growing in all the categories that we really want him to. He does not need more stamina, but he needs to get better in his hits per 9. That is for sure. As far as closing pitchers, John Cannon, one of the top prospects in baseball, now up to a 65 with that A potential, looking like he could be a shutdown closer there. I'd like to see the Ks per 9 go up, but it is what it is. First baseman, we already checked on him. Anthony Francisco, just to repeat, is doing all right, batting 246, 773 OPS though, so the contact's not there, but all around, I think he's going to be fine. And then at third base, we've got Isaiah Cole here, up to a 63. Lost a little bit of the contact, but he is getting better pretty much everywhere else. In AA, he's batting 295 with an OPS of almost 800, a positive WAR of 1.0 as well, only 4 home runs, but again, he's not a guy with pop. It's good to see him just be another solid option. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then let's take a look at some of the top prospects from the actual Colorado Rockies. Zach Veen here, growing nicely. I hate to see a little bit of a decline though, but 69 overall. I believe he was 67 at the start of the season. So in just half a season, almost a 70 overall. Maybe one of those guys we call up in September. He's batting only 254, which is a little bit of a disappointment to me, but maybe I move him to AA where he can just absolutely rake. That could be an option. Why is he not in AA? And then why is this guy even in close to AA? Anyway, let's continue to take a look here. Benny Montgomery, growing very nicely. Love to see that. And he is batting 293. Beautiful. Let's look here. And Adael Amador. Wow, flying up with the bat. The bat is coming around for him, especially against lefties. 8+8 contact, +4 power. This guy is killing it, man. He is absolutely killing it. And then our catcher, how is he doing? Drew Romo. Very good growth there as well. I'd love to see the contact go up for him. Like, absolutely, would just rather have contact than power out of my catchers. But fielding wise, heck, I think he might even be better than Elias Diaz. He's batting 244 right now. So, you know what? I'm absolutely satisfied with this. I just got to make sure that when I go to my mode specific settings, lineups and rotations, yeah, that's fine. But the 40-man roster is manual. The lineups, I'm fine with that. Roster moves are also manual. Okay, so it's pretty much all me except for the lineups and rotations, which I'm fine with that. And the injury management, I'm only going to get notified of MLB injuries. Injury management, MLB only. I guess I could do auto. It's just injury management, but I'll do MLB only. And I don't think we've had anybody, knock on wood, get injured yet. So it's time for the big day. It's time for, it's time for me to fix the Yard Goats roster. And then it's time for the big day. Nick Kent, I don't need you. Thank you. Goodbye. Appreciate your service. Anyway, now it's time for the draft as we lose to the San Francisco Giants. Signed draft picks in one day. Okay. Draft picks in one day. I'm pretty sure not file management. User settings, mode specific. I'm drafting is manual. Beautiful. Drafting is manual. All right. So we will just simulate the game. Yes. Advance the day. Yes. And it's time for the draft. Okay, I had a minor heart attack that I screwed something up and we couldn't get to the draft, but It's on a Sunday. I didn't scout any of the guys up here. Some of these guys flew up. So like Gilberto Esparza from Virginia. I mean, looks like a really, really good player. 80 to 96. That baseline 80 is really, really encouraging to see. Another starting pitcher here, and maybe not as high potential, but I mean, 84 to 89 potential with 71 to 76 overall. A guy that could slot in next season. Incredibly interested in signing with us. If he falls to us at 9, could be a guy that we end up going after. I'm not going to pin players because there's no point. I just end up flipping through them this way anyway. I actually may pin the guys that we've scouted, but it doesn't really make a difference. Esparza, add to draft queue. There we go. Just add these couple guys to the draft queue. I mean, Reynaldo Orozco here could, oh my God, I mean, he could be insane, right? Overall of an 81, potential of a 96 could be his ceiling. If it is that way, we have an absolute gem on our hands. But the question is, do I want to trust the wide range of scouts saying it's 62 to 81 versus the 71 to 76 here, but he does have that upper end potential. We could take a big swing, and if we miss, it could be really bad. Then we've got Kevin Horvath here, the right fielder, 70 to 81 potential and 81 to 92 potential. Excuse me, I meant 70 to 81 overall. So James Lamb here, again, another guy that could be outstanding. We'll see where all these guys end up. Luke Girard, starting pitcher. Like I said, guys, I scouted a lot of starting pitching here. So we'll just get to the draft. We'll jump into it. Here it is, the start of the MLB draft in 2023. We are picking 9th there. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Washington Nationals, and Detroit Tigers have the first 3 picks. And with the first pick in the 2023 MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select... Oh, wait, that's the guy we looked at. That's that's Woody Anderle. 71 to 76 and 84 to 89. So we had him ranked 6th. The MLB had him ranked 7th. So maybe one of those top guys falls to us. That kind of concerns me. And he's already 22. So I don't know. Solid floor, though. Next, the Washington Nationals are going to select... That's exciting, but I don't know who it is until they pop the card up. Kevin Horvath! All right, so another guy that we identified as a potential draft pick for ourselves. Yikes, so I may have wanted to scout those guys near the top of the draft. And finally, the Detroit Tigers are going to select this guy. Yeah, Ben Langston, ranked number 1 overall. They decided to pull the trigger on him. 61 to 95, 65 to 99. We have no idea what he could be. So let's just go ahead and sim to our pick. Dusty Tavares, Brett Livingston, Richard Velez, Damon Hahn, and Miguel Ojeda go right before us. Ooh, so this is a closer. Right here, we've got Gilberto Esparza, the 18-year-old with 80 to 96 potential. We rank him as the 3rd best player, but 55 to 71. I guess I could risk it and go with Reynaldo Orozco just because I could get a higher overall, but I have a tendency to trust my scouts' rankings, and it doesn't really lead me astray. I mean, the potential range is lower on Reynaldo Orozco, right? It could be worse, but we do have him scouted 15% less. The potential that his overall is that high. I mean, he's got a 62 as his base. Gilberto Esparza has, a 55 as his base, so, I mean, we could see that. 84 to 94 here for Luke Girard. At 21, though, he's got a, he's gonna probably, I don't know if he's gonna reach it or not. There's James Lamb too with 68 to 80. A little bit lower on the high end. I think I'm gonna go with Reynaldo Orozco. He's a right-handed pitcher. Yeah, is he a lefty? No, he's not. Oh God, and I don't want to take a shot on one of these guys that we didn't really scout. Rafael Salas here would be nice, but obviously it's a little much of a reach for him with only 90 as his max potential. As far as our scouted players are concerned, 84 to 94 here with Lee Porter. But again, that overall is pretty low, the range on the overall. So you know what? I think I'm going to go with, I don't think it's a crazy idea to go with Reynaldo Orozco. The number 1 guy on the board is a closing pitcher in Sean Chavez, but I don't think we're in the position to take a closer. 80 to 96 versus 77 to 96. It's that overall that's getting me here. Reynaldo Orozco from Ohio. Man, it's it's tough, right? He does look better though. His home runs per 9 range looks much better already, and looks like it will be better in the future. Holy smokes, he does. If you look at his individual stuff, right, the arm strength I don't care about. I care about the pitching. But even his stuff right now just looks better. I know we have him scouted slightly less, but you know, his strikeouts per 9, 46 to 65 versus 52 to 68. So it's pretty similar there. Probably less on the range there, but the hits per 9 potential looks really good. Stamina potential is already great. Pitch control is much better than Gilberto Esparza's. I think Reynaldo Orozco will be the guy that I want to take here. Reynaldo Orozco, welcome to the Colorado Rockies. Bonus demand of 3.92. We took him at 9 here. We had him as the 5th ranked prospect, so I'm all in all pretty happy with that. Now we can go ahead, sim to our next pick here, which is pick number 45 overall. Luke Girard is still available. So, you know, at 21 with that ridiculous potential, if he's in the mid 60s, I think I'm fine with that. If he's anywhere close to that 94 potential, it's going to be an absolute steal. Now, he opted out of the doctor's exam, and he could be injury prone, but he looks like he's going to have good pitch control. His home runs per 9 isn't great. You know, just looking here, you know, getting a little bit more detailed with it to see some impactful players. Clifford Murdoch here could be a guy that's really good at a strikeout pitcher, right? We could go for non-starting pitchers, too, here with a shortstop in Kenny Hood. Good fielding, good arm strength. Contact is looking pretty solid, right? I think I'll take the chance on another pitcher, Luke Girard, just 84 to 94 to potentially get 2 90 potential pitchers would be honestly crazy. And there we go. We went ahead and took him. We had him ranked 10th overall, and we got him at 45th. So let's sim to our next pick here at 73, the competitive balance pick. Are we going to see our shortstop guy there? And I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be there. Taking a look at the shortstops, I don't think we have any scouted. Yeah, we don't have any scouted, unfortunately. So let's just take a look at all players available. More starting pitchers that we know could be good. We could take the shot on Boris Sandoval. I mean, he could be ridiculous. His hits per 9 looks like it's going to be great. Everything else looks like it's going to be okay. Then we've got Ratcliffe here, who's only an 85, upper end of his potential. Yeah, the scouting, I tried to get as much as I could. Maybe I should have honed in a little bit more on specifics. But as far as ranges, I mean, Bo McCoy at 23 has ridiculous potential. We pretty much know he's going to be a ridiculous potential, but I don't like the ranges. Something doesn't add up. It doesn't pass the sniff test, you know? So I think as far as players we've scouted, we're pretty much almost out of them here. And I think, you know what, it's just probably smarter to take Clifford Murdoch, the 20-year-old. I mean, he looks like he could be pretty good at the present state. I mean, 64 to 76 is definitely not bad. If he's anywhere close to the 76, I think we'll be fine with that. And he could have pretty good potential as well with 88 as his upper range. So in the competitive balance round, I'm not going to complain too much about that one. Now with pick number 83, we probably, oh God, we don't have anybody else scouted. So I think I will just maybe trust the ranges. I mean, there's a relief pitcher there with a good bottom end range. This center fielder, 76 to 95 potential. He's already 22 though. That is concerning. I kind of want to find somebody with a good bottom of his potential range for us. No, we don't really have anybody else rated in the top 100. I think I will take Ryan Flint. Just take the shot on him. Why not? If he ends up being a C potential, he ends up being a C potential, but we could strike gold here in the 3rd round. Listen, I'm just trying to get as many dart throws as possible here. Cliff Caruso here, 80 to 99 potential. I mean, his overall is pretty horrific. So it's one of those that, do you want to get a guy with a high potential or a high overall? And I think you really do have to choose at this point in the draft. I really don't think I'm going to find too many of either. But I am going to take, let's see here. Let's go ahead and take Cliff Caruso here. At 21, low overall, high potential, could be somebody we use in a trade if he does end up having that actual potential. So we'll sim to our next draft pick here. We're in round 5. One more after this one. 66 to 99 here. I'm going to look for somebody with a good, I want to find a good overall minimum. I know they're not like perfectly spot on, but they're pretty decent at times. I think I'm seeing 56 as the best baseline here. I think 56 is the best baseline. I mean, get some relief pitchers that are crazy here, and like Mariano Maraville, he could be crazy. Doesn't really look it. I mean, his hits per 9 and strikeouts per 9 could be insane. I highly, highly doubt that. 66.99 here, and Chris Mosquera. His future state's not that exciting. It could be solid enough though. Mario Costa, the right fielder, looks like a guy that could have great contact and great speed. So we'll just take the shot on him there. Take him. We ranked him at 144. It's pick 143, so why not? And with our final pick, are we going to take Henry Balladares? I don't know. His strikeouts per 9 actually look pretty good. He looks like he could be solid, but it looks more like C potential to me, if anything. Chris Mosquera, like I said, just doesn't scream a guy that's going to have that 99 potential. I'm looking at that future and just trying to put it together to see, are these guys going to be anywhere close to it, right? And I don't really see it here. Howard, no. Howard looks like a speed merchant. No, not him. 85. I mean, right fielder with, see, where's that 85 to 99 potential coming from? It doesn't add up in his future attributes. So maybe that's just me not scouting them and misinterpreting things. But man, it just doesn't add up to me. So I'm just trying to find some of these guys that maybe their stuff adds up. You know what? I think we'll go with Henry Balladares. Actually, Mariano Maraville, relief pitcher. Looks like he could be a really, really great relief pitcher. It's the last pick. We might as well take one. There we go. There's our draft all set. Similar to the Rockies' next pick, it is done. And I'll catch up with you guys after we've signed everybody, and hopefully we hit on some gems. So guys, I am going to offer out a contract extension here to Nolan Jones. He's been playing, great. He's growing great. Really a guy that I want to keep around for a good amount of time here. He's got 14 home runs, 47 RBIs, batting .259, 793 OPS, a WAR of .9, right? Creating runs, 48 runs created in 407 at-bats. A guy that actually that's his career, and only 32, so that's really good, actually. So I'm going to keep him around here. 5-year deal gets him until he's 29. It's only going to cost us $2.5 million a year, and he's going to accept that contract offer. CJ Cron at 33, we'll see what he wants, but I don't have to give everybody a contract extension right now. Ezekiel Tovar, honestly, is growing pretty nicely. What is he going to want? Again, he's going to want like a similar type deal. I mean, I could lock him up for 10 years, but that feels a bit much. Brandon Rogers is growing and is almost an 80 at 26. Maybe I could get him. I think maybe 3 years would be the sweet spot. I mean, 2 years, honestly, would get me $4.5 million a year, but he wants 10.5 for 5 years. Is he going to be worth that much money? I think I'd be a lot happier if I got him closer to the 7.6, 7.5-ish range. For 3 years. Oh, wow. He's still got good amount of interest, even at just $7 million a year. Sign me up for the next 3 years. That's beautiful. That's a great contract for me. Brenton Doyle's a guy that I think we're just going to end up letting walk. He doesn't have the potential to keep his overall where it is. Randall Grichuk is our all-star, and at 31 can honestly still play. He wants 5 years. I'd be more willing to give him 2 years. That $8 million a year. I mean, he's an all-star, right? Oh wow, just to keep him, he wants he's not getting that. I think CJ Cron. How are you batting this year? I mean, he's been kind of everywhere, right? But 364 at bats, batting under 250. OPS under 700, a WAR of just 0.5, and a runs created of 43. 43 runs created is not bad, but honestly, I would have expected a bit more out of him. And I think, we got to make some room for some of the guys we're calling up. Ezekiel Tovar here, a guy that I probably want to keep around at 21. I mean, I could give him a 10-year deal, a 9-year deal. I just got to hope that he continues to produce. Batting .255 with 8 home runs and 310 at-bats, 707 OPS, a WAR of 1.7, and 38 runs created in his 310 at-bats. Definitely not a guy worthy of a ridiculously long-term contract, but I think 4 years, get him till he's 25, see what he's got. We're going to give him the $2 million a year, right? Give him we'll give him less than that because he's pretty interested in 1.8 per year for 4 years, so I will absolutely take that. Yeah, there we go. He's going to accept that contract offer. And I think as far as contract extensions that I need to give out right now, that's probably it. Grichuk, we'll see. We'll see about him. CJ Crone, I may not give him a new contract extension. And then the rest of these guys probably aren't worth it. We're really close on the draft picks too, guys. So we're looking pretty good there. I'm really excited to see what they actually turn out to be. So today is the trade deadline, and I figured I'd kind of look around and see what's out there and see what we could get. Brenton Doyle here has a good amount of value, and it could fetch us Junior Caminero from the Tampa Bay Rays. This is a third baseman, another one that, you know, just load the pipeline. We got to get some young youth that we can look forward to. And he's a top prospect in baseball. In AAA, he's not hitting the ball that well. He's got a negative WAR. I would probably move him down to AA just so that he can start, you know, getting some confidence. And Brenton Doyle, like we said, we're probably not going to re-sign him. He doesn't have the potential to keep that overall where it's at. He's going to continue to drop off. And really, he's not much of a hitter, right? I like hitters. I don't like defense. So that's kind of where I want to go here. Brenton Doyle for Junior Caminero. I think I'm going to take advantage of it. They want to give him to us. He'd probably take over as their starting third baseman here. I mean, their best third baseman, natural third baseman in the system. I just wanted to look up for a second where Junior Caminero is actually for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's ranked as 14th overall in baseball. Are you serious? He's actually ranked as the 14th best prospect in all of baseball right now with an MLB ETA of 2025, according to MLB.com. So that's crazy. I think he's their best. Yeah, he's their best prospect right now. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Brenton Doyle, goodbye. Welcome, Junior Caminero. And now we've got two third basemen that we could probably look to, you know, to the future for. Isaiah Cole here, who we signed, and then Junior Caminero, both Dominican Republic third baseman, and maybe they can, you know, form a partnership. Cole can only play third, where Caminero can play short or second. Honestly, him at shortstop would not be the worst idea in the world. You know, we do have Adel Amador, but Ezequiel Tovar is here as well. At second, we got Brendan Rodgers, but I may make Junior Caminero a second baseman, or maybe I'll make Isaiah Cole a second baseman, just because he doesn't have that. Well, he can't play second, I guess. So you guys let me know what to do there. But for now, we're just gonna let it ride. And we're going to make that trade. I was kind of looking through here, seeing some young guys, you know, I found that Brenton Doyle had more potential than I thought he did, or I guess not more potential, but more trade value. And that means that we can, in the outfield, it's Grichuk, Profar. Yeah, I'm fine with the outfield. Probably call up another infielder. Do we have yeah, we do have a backup catcher. Ooh, look at that. Anthony Francisco looking pretty good, up to a 70. We've got three. We do need somebody to call up for third. I think it might be Kyle Datres, just because we do need to call somebody up. Kyle Datres. Do I have enough? Yeah, I got enough pitchers. Yeah, we should probably call him up. He's not going to be that great, but I don't want to screw up the development of Cole, and I don't want to screw up the development of Junior Caminero. Actually, you know what? Well, if he comes up, he's not going to get any at bats. That's the one thing I worry about. Although they are using Aaron Shunk a lot more, so we actually are gonna. Actually, he's not on the 40-man. He's not either. I can just add these guys to the 40-man. There we go, because we did make a trade away and move the MLB. Beautiful, Aaron Shunk. Welcome to Colorado. And now it is the last day to sign draft picks. Today is the deadline, so we will go ahead and we'll probably. I think we're gonna end up losing one. We're gonna ignore that for now. Signed draft picks. We are probably going to lose Mariano Maraville just because I couldn't get him, you know, I couldn't get the interest up in time. I tried to prioritize other people, his potential. Who knows what it is. But at least for Mario Costa, I'll give him a ridiculous amount of money. Use it or lose it. All right. And there we go. Oh, I can't offer. Oh my God. I can't offer him a contract. Yikes. All right. I'll give him the max. It does push it up. And he is going to decline it. That's a bit of a bummer. It is what it is. He was under 50% anyway. Finalized the 3-day scouting plan. Advance the day. And we can view our draft picks now and see what they actually are. Our first overall draft pick, Reynaldo Orozco, is a bust. Oh, my God. Cliff Caruso, though, is actually a gem. Ridiculous speed. Great potential. But our first, oh man, that is a bummer. I gotta find out where where the pitcher we were looking at went. He was on the low end of his potential here. He does have a 62 overall, but man, that's terrible. We got Luke Girard and Clifford Murdoch, though, so the good thing we took enough pitchers. I mean, Clifford Murdoch is already a 74, guys. You're going to see him in the majors next year with 86 potential. You know, he could turn out to be something. So the overalls aren't too low. 74 is actually pretty good. So Clifford Murdoch, that's the gem we got out of this draft class, really. Luke Girard's got a long way to go and not a lot of room to grow. Ryan Flint in center field, speed merchant. Same thing here with Cliff Caruso, but Cliff Caruso's got 89 potential. Could end up being really, really good. Wow, he's just a menace on the base paths. But at 51 overall with 89 potential, he has the highest ceiling of anybody we drafted. But really, it's Clifford Murdoch that we should really be looking to the future for out of this draft class. So I know one of the guys we were looking at is James Lamb. He's 75 with 86 potential. Not the greatest, potential for a top 10 pick would have been. Certainly better than what we got, though. And then here is Gilberto Esparza. I should have trusted my scouts. He's got 92 actual potential with a 67 overall. This guy is a really, really good player and could be one that's going to hurt us in the future. I mean, Ty McDermott and Gilberto Esparza, both for the Los Angeles Angels. Yeah, that's a tough swing and a miss. And here we are at September call-ups, basically the last month of the season at 61 and 72, so 11 games under 500. Not too bad, all things considered. I mean, looking at the real-life Colorado Rockies, they are 21 games under 500, so I'd say we're doing all right. As far as the wild card is concerned, we're 10.5 games back, so it's not really going to matter. So I just wanted to jump in and finish the season out with you guys, and oh man, that draft was just disappointing. And it didn't feel like a very good draft class either, really. It just didn't. Hopefully we are able to, no, I'd like to not stop simulating, and hopefully we're able to get a pretty decent draft pick. The Yard Goats have been eliminated by the Portland Sea Dogs and the Rockies. We go 72 and 90, which 72 wins, honestly, was pretty solid for what I was expecting out of this team. All in all, not the greatest season here. Do we have any highlights as far as statistics? Anybody to really lean on? Randall Grichuk, I mean, I got to say, he did have the best season of anybody here. Nolan Jones, we gave him that contract extension. I front-loaded it too, so it's 3.1 next year, and in 2028, he's going to make 1.9. This contract's going to look like a steal. He looks really good. Brandon Rogers up to an 81. His contract of 3 years at $7 million. I'm happy to see that. Ryan McMahon continuing to do well. 288. That's pretty darn good. The OPS looking great there. Home runs wise, we do need a little bit more power. I'm happy to see Elias Diaz though. Wow, really simulates so well. CJ Cron. He is growing, didn't play well, power against righties, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be worth the contract that he would want from us anyway. Speaking of not worth the contract, I don't know. Chris Bryant did certainly not have a bad season. Is it $26 million season? No. But it certainly wasn't a bad season. Grichuk, 4.4 WAR. McMahon, 3.6. Diaz with 3.1. Nolan Jones with just a 2. Ezekiel Tovar with 1.4. He is somebody that I'm excited for the future of. 1.8 million for the next 4 seasons, too. Should be pretty good. As far as, where is it? Runs created. We did have 3 guys in the 90s. Chris Bryant, actually, with 94 runs created. I mean, listen, he may not look the best, but with almost 100 runs created at 26 million a year, I can't call it too bad of a contract. Nolan Jones with a 90, 95 for Randall Grichuk. We'll have to decide. I think I will try and give him a contract extension. I'm not sure, at 31, we'll see what he wants, but we don't really have a budget issue. Diaz with 75, McMahon with 71, and then after that, it kind of falls off. Nobody here. Brendan Rodgers, a little bit disappointing there with the bat, but it is what it is. Taking a look at the pitchers, sorting by innings pitched. I mean, Kyle Freeland had a great season for us at 70 overall. Flexen, I say great season. Based on expectations, guys. What I'm expecting out of these guys and what they actually produce, we'll see. Oh man, Rushinsky, just not good. I can understand why he's playing in the minors. Quality starts though, I wish I could see quality start percentage. I'll just do the math in my head. That's above 50%. That is 50%. That's just below 50%, and that's below 50%. Rushinsky and Sessa, yeah, we gotta with our budget hit the. Oh man, we have to hit a lot of things. But as far as WAR is concerned, Chris Flexen was 2.1. But maybe in the offseason, we'll go after some starting pitching or just pitching in general pretty hard, because this just isn't good enough. We're not going to make the playoffs with pitching like this. The hitting, as we saw, was solid, right? We can get away with those kind of hitters. We can make the playoffs with those kind of hitters, but we can't make the playoffs with this kind of pitching. Absolutely necessary that we upgrade the starting rotation for sure. Brad Hand, though, maybe a guy that I want to bring back. He pitched really well as a left-handed reliever, 71 overall, but was our best reliever as far as ERC is concerned. Chris Flexen had a great season as a starter, so 2.6 next year for him is not going to be something I'm looking to move. Brent Sutter as well, a guy I probably want to bring back. Justin Lawrence, a guy that I would want to renew his contract. He is declining because of the potential, but he still pitched really well. Other than that, pretty much nobody else is safe. Taking a look at the statistics here. Let's take a look at the team rankings. Batting average wise, we finished in the top 10 as far as total batting average. So at 261, that's not too bad. In 15th, so league average was just about 258. So a little bit higher than it is in real life. Looking at more like 260 here, whereas I don't really know what it is in real life. But for now, I just like to look above 250. As far as runs scored, did we score a lot of runs? Were we at least entertaining? The answer is probably not, considering 647. We came in 23rd there. Home runs, yeah, if we're not scoring a lot of runs, we're probably not hitting too many homers, although it is an improvement, up in the top 20. Taking a look here, stolen base percentage. Do we steal base as well? Maybe? No? That is something. No, we do not steal base as well. Good God. Strikeouts. Let's take a look. I want to look at now at ERA. Fielding percentage. We had a good fielding team. Yeah, and there it is in league average, whatever. ERA, though, this is probably where we need to improve. Yeah, 20th as far as there. Runs allowed. We got to be at the bottom of here. I mean, yeah, we got outscored by 100 runs this season. I mean, I guess when you finish with only 72 wins, I mean, you're 9 games under 500. It's not too bad. It's definitely a decent starting point, considering our goals. It was what it was. We did not finish over 500. Our job security is average, but I turned off GM contracts. But they just want us to reach the postseason once, and we're going to build towards that. We were in there for the first half of the season. Charlie Blackmon really fell off a cliff as far as his rating is concerned. Taking a look here. Yeah, 72. Zach Veen at a 71 now. So he grew 4 overall points in one season, and he probably can play in the majors next year. I don't know what you guys think I should do as far as like easing prospects into things or what, but taking a look at these guys. John Cannon up to a 65 overall. Love to see that. Brendan Rodgers up to a 71. I believe he was a 76 to start, so 5 overall points for him. So I kind of want to start the young guys. I want to start guys with, Junior Caminero. Maybe start him at second next season. Tovar is going to continue to play up here. Isaiah Cole probably isn't ready yet. Right, there's a certain point, but Roger Villafuerte, he could be a guy that we end up calling up, although those hits per 9, it does scare me a lot. I'm sorted by potential right now. Adel Amador up to a 64. He had some really nice growth with the contact. I love to see things like that. Anthony Francisco, he's a guy that I could call up too, because I feel like he's got enough power and pop to at least replace what CJ Cron did. And then we got Yanquiel Fernandez here up to a 67. Drew Romo at a 65. So it's going to be another season before we see all of these guys come up, but maybe anybody in the 70s with high potential like Zach Veen. He's the only one. Really, I think Francisco, yeah, he's the other one. So maybe those two guys are the two guys that lead the way for the youth movement. We kind of ease everybody in. Once you hit 70, I start considering it. I don't know. You guys let me know about that. But that is all the time I have for this one, guys. We'll figure out who wins the World Series in the offseason episode. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys in the next one. This a free-for-all, before we fall. This a free-for-all, before we fall. Took some L's, but I guess you can't win.